So you and your family want a new van. Great. But then you go out shopping for a new van and you find that most options will fall under just one of two categories. Either you get a lot of space and seats, but not much in the way of luxury and comfort. Or you get a lot of luxury and comfort, but you don't get the same amount of seats and practicality. And there aren't really options that fall in between. Until this one. So you've all seen this before. This is the Hyundai Staria. When the Staria first came out, we got 4 variants: the premium 7-seater, the GLS 11-seater, the commuter, and the cargo. This is, as you can tell, a premium variant, but with a twist. This is the latest addition to the Staria's lineup, which is the premium 9-seater. Being a premium model, you still get the same features outside as the 7-seater premium. So you get the full-size dual LED headlight instead of the smaller MRF headlight in the GLS variants, and below you get this nice LED strip here and the full-size honeycomb grille here as well. So everything looks elegant. You get these bronze accents also to make it look and feel like a premium variant. Now down the sides, again, it still looks the same, so you couldn't really tell the premium 9-seater and the 7-seater apart if you were just looking at it from the sidewalk. Again, the bronze accents on the side mirrors, bronze accents on the door handles, the tall windows that really make it look and feel spacious. And then you also get these 18-inch wheels. The tires are just muddy, but they are Michelin Primacy SUVs. All right, now moving on to the back. Here, again, still very familiar. Nothing has changed. But as the premium variant, you do get the full-length 8-bit style LED taillight instead of the ones that go only until here on the GLS variants and below. Yeah, and so again, bronze decals, bronze emblems, Staria badge here, and then you have your trunk release or tailgate release here. Pretty much it. Still looks very elegant, very classy, very premium family hauler. Let's move on to the inside. Now checking out the cockpit of the Staria. As you can see, even as the driver or the front passenger, you still get a lot of space in this van. Kung titignan mo, pag-aabotin ko yung dulo ng switch panel ko dito, I have to extend my hand fully there just to reach the switch to adjust my mirrors. Yan, so it's really a lot of space. Yung dashboard feels far away. Ganyan. So hindi siya parang typical van na parang it's in your face here. So it really feels like it's a very open space. So you get a 10.25-inch gauge cluster display and an 8-inch infotainment screen with wireless Apple CarPlay. I'm not sure about Android Auto, but for Apple CarPlay it is wireless. And then you get physical buttons for climate control, which is interesting to see in 2025. And talagang mas okay. You can easily change the settings, press anything you want without having to fumble around with menus. So from here, I can control the seat ventilation. So these seats, both right and left seat, is heated and ventilated. I can control the rear climate as well. Yan. And then I have a bunch of other settings here. My drive mode, my auto vehicle hold is here, and my 360-degree cameras. Yan. As for these seats, again, they're heated and ventilated, and you get an adjustable armrest here and here, sa akin din. So yan, you lift it up, pwede mo siyang i-hold into place. Yan, yan. Up a little, pwede pa rin. Yan. Sa Starex before, it was either up or it was down in one position. Ngayon, you have several detents of adjustment. And then, cup holders, of course. What family vehicle doesn't have any cup holders, diba? So you have 2 here, hiding here. When you push this back, you reveal 2 cup holders. Push it further back, this is your glove box. And some storage here for wires and cables and stuff like that. Maybe a small bag, a camera that you bring around when you travel. Then you have a cup holder here again, some storage bins here on the dash. So pwede mo ilagay mga RFID mo, documents, parking pass, maybe village pass nyo, ganyan. Pwede nyo ilagay dito. Dito meron pa rin. There you go. And of course, your glove box. Okay, and then you also have a wireless charger here for your cell phone. And then, as you can see, the position is very nice and very comfortable. Lots of space. Good driving position. Even if you're really tall, you can find the right position for you here. Yeah, that's pretty much it here. So, really, the highlight of this space is the rest of the car, not the cockpit. So, let's go check that out. Okay, so in 2025, no premium van is complete without power sliding doors. So, of course, we get power sliding doors here. Ayan. So once you step inside, you'll see the main difference of the Staria 9-seater from the 7-seater. So in order to fit two more seats, two more captain seats, yung second row na dating yung recliners. So on the 7-seater, it used to be the recliner with the ottomans and fully automatic yung adjustments. On this one, it's just your typical captain's chair, no? So nothing special here. No ottoman, no massager or whatever. No, just these armrests on both sides. Again, adjustable. May several detents siya for adjustment. Yan. And then, it's also heated and ventilated right here. So I can turn on the ventilation if it's a little hot. Also, these seats swivel, by the way. So let me show you how that works. Okay, so you can rotate the seat like so. So there's a little latch here that you pull. And then yan. So pwede mo siya i-rotate ng ganyan. For example, you have an elderly passenger na medyo mas mahirapan umupo. So para they just back in. Diba? They just back in. Nakaupo na sila. Yan. And then you just swivel it back into place. Or you can also swivel it the other way para kaharap mo yung mga nasa likod mo. Ayan. Now you just have to move some things around para kasya kayong lahat. But essentially, that's it. So actually, the layout here at the back is quite similar to the GLS din, no? So yung GLS, ang difference lang nun is yung first rear row is a bench. It's a 60-40 split bench. Dito, it's two captain's chairs in the first row of the back. No, so the benefit of that is you don't have to fumble with a seat to access the second and the third row, which is a great benefit, especially when you're dealing with the chaos of kids, right? So hindi yung may hawak kang bag, hawak pa na yung bata, kailangan pa itiklop yung seat para makapasok ka sa likod dito. Pasok ka lang, daan ka sa gitna, andito ka na sa likod. Diba? Okay, so this is the second set of captain's chairs, no? For the 7-seater, ito yung wala. No, so the 7-seater doesn't get the second set of captain's chairs. So you get the recliners up front, pero wala ito. Ito naman, this second row of captain's chairs are virtually identical to the first row. So no bells and whistles. No, yun nga lang ito, hindi pala to heated and ventilated. Itong first two lang ang heated and ventilated. The second set is not. And you also don't get the swivel function. It's not. So in terms of space naman, no, it's a little tight, but still pretty comfortable. If you wanted to sit here, you couldn't complain naman, really. Ayan, no? So you can sleep here for a long road trip. Okay naman siya. You really just have to be very strategic with the way you place each and every seat so that each and every passenger will have enough space. So for example, right now, the way all these seats are set up, I'm really not going to fit in the back there. So I'd have to push this one forward, which I can't do from here. Pala. So I have to move this a little forward. Ayan, one notch forward. And then maybe move this one another notch forward as well. So I can fit in the third row. Ayan. Let's move back here. So this is the third row. This one is a solid bench. It doesn't split fold, but you can fold the seat backs down or push the seat bottoms up, depending on what you need and the cargo space that you might need. Okay, so I'm gonna try to fit in here sa likod. Yan. Alright. Still pretty spacious. Yun nga lang, I can see that the seat back is directly on the glass, on the rear windshield. So, wala na talagang cargo space yan for you to fit 9 passengers. But you still get the sunshade here. Same with that first window. And yeah, you could really be comfortable here. I don't think if we just moved the seats properly, you would have enough space here. And then you get some cup holders here, a power outlet. Oh, sorry, not a power outlet, just looks like a power outlet, but it's a USB port. Another USB port there. So each passenger has a USB port. And then these captain's seats pala also have isofix points. And then the rear tether also dito. All 4 of them have it. And yeah, another notable difference pala between this premium 9-seater and the premium 7-seater is you don't get the panoramic sunroof here. So on the premium 7-seater, may sunroof dun sa harap for the front passengers. And then may panoramic sunroof dito sa likod. Ito, you don't get not even one. But I guess that's fine. It's a good sacrifice for you to get this many seats. Yeah, so let's check out the cargo, which is quite interesting. The cargo situation is a little interesting. Okay, so one problem that the Staria has, no matter what configuration you get, except maybe the cargo, is cargo space. So let me show that to you now. And so you get an electronically assisted tailgate. Of course, with a tailgate this size, you want it to be power operated. And so this is where I was sitting a while ago. As you saw, there wasn't a lot of space for me anymore doon. Sakto lang yung tuhod ko dun sa second row of captain's chairs when I sat in the third row. And dun nasa second row ako, sakto lang din yung tuhod ko dun sa first row. No? So it wasn't really a luxurious amount of room, but still we had to push this third row all the way back. So sagad to. As you can see, halos lampas na siya dun sa pinakahamba nung tailgate. No? And makikita nyo halos wala na tayong pwedeng ilagay. Try natin. Kumuha tayo ng hand carry size na maleta. We'll see if that closes. But it's barely enough room. Ayan. Ayaw na niyang sumara. So, if you wanted to put something here, you'd really be forced to move the seat slightly forward. Yun nga lang, sisikip yung space for mga pasahero. So, move natin ng 1 notch forward. That's 1 notch forward. And this will probably fit now. Yan, sakto na siya. Try natin yung medium. Looks like kasha pa rin. Yeah, parang kasha pa rin. Yan, try natin kung sasara. With 1 notch forward. That worked. Ngayon, if you were traveling with your whole family, let's say all 9 seats, tapos let's say you were going to the airport, lilipad kayo ibang bansa. Unfortunately, ito lang yung kasyang maleta dito. Kung ilagay pa natin isa pa, hindi na natin siya mapapasara eh. Diba? Kahit pagpalitin natin to, say that, ito, nakalabas na eh. Right? So, that's the real issue here. That's the real problem of the Staria, especially with the 7-seater. Yung 7-seater, dahil nga malaki yung captain's chairs niya sa harap, it only goes so far forward. No? So, what can you do? Realistically, there are a few options that you can do, no? One is I've folded the seat bottoms para pwede natin itulak to ng sagad. Maluwag siya. Buong maleta kasha. But this, if you look at the front, wala nang space for passengers talaga to dahil everything is pushed together. So no leg room for any of the seats. So wala ka masasakay na pasahero. Pero you get a lot of cargo space. Another option is if we were to, for example, conservatively position the seats and leave it 1 notch there. Yan, may konti ka. So another option is you could drop the seat back like so, and then you can use that space. So for example, may dala ka stroller, you went to the grocery, you can put some here, some over here. You have a lot more practical and usable space. Right? Or, since this is a 9-seater, and you get 2 rows of captain's chairs, basically 6 seats, You could theoretically remove this third seat here to give yourself a lot of room on the second and third rows. Yan. So, being a 9-seater gives you a lot of options. Not unlike the 7-seater, if you gave it up for cargo, you'd be left with 4 seats. At least ito, 6 pa rin siya. Yan. So, it's a little tricky. You really have to think about it. You really have to plan kung ano yung kakarga mo, gaano karami yung sasakay. But, still a practical and usable space. Again, theoretically, you could remove this last bench, have more space, have more cargo, and still have 6 seats. 6 spacious seats na. Yan. Hey, before we continue, did you know that we also have an online store? Just head on over to www.rideby.ph to get everything you need for your car or motorcycle. We've got detailing products, tools, maintenance parts, gear, and many more. Do check it out and get 10% off on your first purchase. Now back to the video. Okay, so we decided to take the Staria out on your typical family road trip. So we're here now in the twisty mountainous sections of Rizal, and we just want to see what it's like to be behind the wheel. No? So the Staria is powered by the D4HB engine. Again, it's not the first time we've seen that. The whole Staria lineup is powered by that engine. It's a 2.2-liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder. The one that's been powering the Carnival also, the old Sorrentos, the Santa Fe's, the old Santa Fe's since 2013. So we know that it's a robust and reliable engine. But this is the heaviest and the biggest vehicle that the D4HB has had to pull. And it's starting to feel that weight. So yung mga ahon dito sa mga bundok, no, medyo talagang kailangan apakan mo yung silinyador ng medyo madiin para makaahon siya ng medyo mabilis. Tapos from standstill, from zero, you feel that it's really sluggish. Pag hinayaan mo siya in drive to crawl on its own, it's really slow off the line. So you really have to motivate it a little, step on the gas a little para it moves at a decent pace. But other than that, the engine is very smooth. Yun nga lang, we've noticed that fuel economy suffers as a result of, you know, the weight that it has to carry. So ngayon in mixed conditions, mostly dry, mostly city, some highway, and then yung mga provincial roads, no, we managed around 6.5 to 7. But I tested the Staria Premium 7-seater before, and I drove that mostly in the city, and I was just doing 5.8 kilometers every liter, which is not typical of the D4HB. In the Carnival that we tested, we can link that video somewhere here on the screen, we were doing about 8 to 9 in the city. Sobrang tipid. Pero in the Staria, again, with so much mass to move, you really have to pay for it in fuel. Also, the Staria Premium is all-wheel drive. So the 7-seater and the 9-seater, pareho silang all-wheel drive. So again, you lose some power to the drivetrain as well. So, yun, which adds to the strain. And, you know, adds to the strain, adds to the work that the engine has to do. Other than that, the engine is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Again, very smooth, very intuitive. Maganda yung shifting niya. Hindi mo siya napapansin. It doesn't jerk. It's not indecisive. Very well tuned. Now, you also get paddle shifters just in case you want to control the gears on your own. Shift your own gears. So, for example, ito, aahon tayo. I want to downshift one gear para medyo makaakyat tayo na mabilis. I can do that with the paddles. Or kung pababa naman, I want to engine brake. Ayan. The paddles can help me do that. Yun. This also has drive modes, by the way. So you have 3, actually 4. No, so the 3 basic ones are Eco, Normal, and Sport. But you also get a Smart mode where, depending on your demands, it will shift between Eco, Normal, and Sport on its own. No? So in daily driving situations, in the city, I use Smart most of the time. Pero ngayon na nandito tayo sa mga medyo bundukin na area, I put it in sport mode just so that it holds the gears and I have the torque I need when I need it. Now when it comes to driving dynamics, the Staria is very, very pleasant. It feels like a car or a big SUV. Doesn't feel van-like. Siguro the only thing that hints at it being a van is the position of the steering wheel. It's a little low and slightly tilted forward, ganyan. So medyo nakatingala siya, nakaharap sa'yo. So medyo parang bus, ganyan. But other than that, the steering is light. You know, you have good visibility. The dashboard is really low, so you have a good line of sight. Out in front of you, malaki yung mga bintana mo, marami ka nakikita. So it feels smaller than it is. It wraps around you. As for NVH naman, this is a big car. A lot of seats, a lot of seat belts that could rattle, but you don't hear anything. It's well insulated. Kanina siguro may mga dumadaang motor naririnig nyo, but this is after all Marilake, and yung mga motor dito alam nyo naman. But other than that, it's quite well insulated. Hindi masyadong malakas yung mga tunog na nanggagaling sa labas. Hindi rin maingay yung loob. Hindi maingay yung mga gamit sa loob. So you're very comfortable, no? Add to that the suspension is very plush, very smooth. Of course, it's not overly pillowy or luxurious. This is an MPV at 2.8 million. You get a lot of car for that, and it's not going into extremely well-sorted, extremely luxurious suspension, but it is reasonably comfortable. It is reasonably insulated from the outside world. And so we're driving through a bit of twisties here in sport mode, and you can have a little bit of fun. Of course, it's no sports car. There's quite a bit of roll, and you feel the car lean. Medyo mataas siya, so the center of gravity is quite high. But I'm still having a good time. No, medyo malaki lang talaga siya. And there's enough power to pull me out of the corners when I want to in sport mode, because it's holding the gears for me. So I'm always at 182,000. So pag paun ko ng silenyador, it pulls out right away. And quite fun, but I'm sure my passengers wouldn't appreciate it if puno tayo dito. And one thing that really concerns me pala about this interior now is I'm worried about how it will age. So this demo currently has 20,580 kilometers on the clock. And meron na mga kumukupas. So for example, itong silver trim dito sa manibela, medyo kumupas na, may portion na ng itim na. Tapos medyo maraming gasgas yung dashboard. Of course, we have to consider that this is a demo. It lives a harder life than most cars. But yeah, meron din dito yung cup holder dito sa likod. Hindi na siya naglalak na maayos. So right now it's closed, but then bang, this center console bukas na. So I'm a little worried about, you know, these things going wrong as time passes by, especially if you're using it as a family car with the kids, makalikot, diba? Hindi mo naman pipigilan. So I think it's entirely possible that some of these things will break, no, or won't age well. But as a new car, it's very beautiful, very nice. Okay, so as the premium variant, although it's slightly cheaper than the top of the line 7-seater, no, the premium 9-seater still comes loaded with a lot of electronics and tech. So, yun, as we've mentioned in the walkthrough, you get a 10.25-inch screen na gauge cluster, 8-inch infotainment display. But beyond that, you get 360-degree cameras, you get blind spot monitoring. So yung blind spot niya works a little differently. It's in tandem with the turn signals, just like the Kia Carnival. So when you flick it left, yung speedometer mo magiging blind spot camera. When you flick it right, yung right side, which is yung tachometer mo, magiging blind spot camera sa kanan. Yun nga lang, ang namimiss ko dito is the traditional blind spot warning on the side mirror. Na pag may katabi ka or may malapit sa'yo, may umiilaw doon sa side mirror. Para isang glance mo lang, alam mo na hindi ka pwede mag-swerve, di ba? Ito kasi, you have to flick the turn signal and then you'll see. Pero yung the traditional system, the system that most manufacturers use na may warning lang sa side mirror, basta may tumubi sa'yo eh. Diba? Basta hindi clear, sasabihin niya sa'yo agad. So, I think that's very useful. Yun nga lang wala dito, sadly. So, it gets a lot of other different electronics as well. So, you get collision mitigation, forward collision mitigation, you get 360-degree camera, you have smart cruise control or adaptive cruise control, and it has low speed follow. So, you can set it even at 0, you can turn it on and it will follow or crawl through traffic for you, which is very, very useful, especially if you're a dad or a mom and you do the school runs in the morning. Ganyan, inaantok ka pa, pagod, di ba? Tapos makikitraffic ka. So it takes a lot of that effort away when you can just set it to 30 kilometers an hour and then you can crawl through C5 on the way to school. Susunod lang siya sa traffic. Di ba? Medyo mas nakakaginhawa. And then it also has lane keep assist and lane departure warning, which you can turn off. The lane departure warning you can turn off. Lane keep assist, you can turn it on a highway, on a fairly straight highway. It will follow the lanes for you in conjunction with adaptive cruise control. So it's a sort of highly assisted driving on the highway. We'll flash the complete list of electronics that this has on the screen, but those are the most useful ones that we found. Okay, now we're in a section naman na maraming pababa, no, here in Tanay. And we've noticed that the brakes really have to work hard also, this being a heavy car. You get 18-inch rotors up front and 17-inch rotors in the back. But again, there's a lot of weight. So right now what I'm doing is helping it with a bit of engine braking by being in sport mode. So ngayon, it's holding 2,000 RPMs on a slight downhill. But when I really have to brake, I have to give a little bit of allowance to my normal braking distance because yun nga, you can't cheat physics. So it's something to keep in mind when you drive this car. Okay, so that was our first ride review of the Hyundai Staria 9-seater. And I really think it strikes a very important balance between practicality and luxury. Now it's time for our ratings. Okay, so number 1, performance. So again, we have the 2.2-liter D4HB engine, 175 horsepower, 430 Newton meters of torque. It's a little labored in this van. Medyo mabigat na yung kotse. Hindi pa kami puno today. Pero you really feel the weight of the car is really straining the engine. It's not quick. It's reasonably good. It has enough horsepower, I would say, but it's really not outstanding and it really struggles a little bit. The transmission is smooth. You get paddle shifters to control your gearing, going up and down hilly terrain. So, which is a plus, but overall, I would have to score this for performance an 8 out of 10. Now for handling. You get McPherson struts up front and multi-lug suspension in the rear, and the driving experience really is unlike any van. It feels more SUV-like, more car-like from behind the wheel. It's not a sports car, but it is reasonably comfortable to drive. And it rides really well also for your passengers. It's well insulated, very comfortable. So I give it a 9 out of 10 for handling. Okay, up next is utility. Of course, with 9 seats, you can't beat that. There's a lot of space to go around for everyone. Yun nga lang, cargo space is slightly compromised, but I think it is a good balance. No, you have enough seats to fold the last row down. So you still have 6 seats, even if you fold the last row down and turn it into cargo area. Or ako nga, personally, what I would do is remove the bench, no? Leave 6 seats. So for example, for me, I have a family of 3 kids, my wife and me. So we would fit perfectly in just 6 seats, but we need the cargo space more. We need strollers, we need bags and stuff like that. So I would get rid of the bench. But for utility, it's still a very versatile car. You can configure it several ways to make it fit your needs. And for utility, I give it a solid 10 out of 10. Okay, up next is styling. Of course, I think it's love it or hate it, yung design ni Hyundai sa kotse na to. But ako personally, I love it. It looks futuristic, it looks elegant, it looks modern, and I feel like it will age well. So for styling, I give it another 9 out of 10. Okay, now for value for money, I think the Staria Premium 9-seater hits an important middle ground, not just in terms of utility, but also in terms of price. This one is priced at around 2.83 million pesos, and for that, you get a good mix of luxury features and practical utility. It may not be the most luxurious like the 7-seater with its recliners. It may not be the most utilitarian with the most seats, such as the GLS 11-seater, but it is a very, very fine mix of both. You get a little more seats, 9 seats, but you still get all the creature comforts, the luxurious amenities of the 7-seater, which is what most families really need in a van such as this. So for value for money, I give it another 9 out of 10. Overall, as you can tell, I like this van. I like the way it's spec'd, I like the way it drives, and I like how useful and practical it is. So overall, I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. So that concludes our first ride review of the Hyundai Staria Premium 9-seater. Watch out for the full written review on our website, ridebyph/garage. And if you like to see more reviews, more content like this, subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again.